Admiral Zix Thara's crystalline form trembled with desperation as she stood before the Human Diplomatic Council, her bioluminescent panels flickering in patterns that conveyed the deepest distress her species could express. Behind her, the holographic display showed the nightmare consuming her homeworld, Kepler 438b, crown jewel of the crystalline collective, being systematically devoured by the void swarm. "Honored humans," she began, her voice carrying harmonic frequencies that spoke of species-wide extinction. "My people face total annihilation. The swarm has already consumed the outer colonies. Our finest battle fleets have been absorbed. We have perhaps 72 standard hours before our homeworld falls." Ambassador Sarah Chen leaned forward, her expression grave as she studied the tactical data. The void swarm was a cosmic horror that had emerged from dark space 3 months ago, self-replicating machines that consumed matter at the molecular level, converting entire worlds into more swarm units. "What assistance can humanity provide?" Chen asked. "Our military is already stretched across 17 different crisis zones." Admiral Zix Thara's hope flickered like a dying star. "Any ships you can spare? Any weapons? Anything?" Her crystalline structure resonated with barely controlled panic. "The collective has allied with the Draconian Empire, the Ethereal Dynasty, and the warrior clans of Vega. Our combined fleets number over 40,000 vessels. And they've been ineffective." "Worse than ineffective," Admiral Zix Thara replied, her panels dimming to colors of mourning. "Every ship destroyed simply adds to the swarm's mass. Our weapons feed it. Our hulls become its armor. We estimate that our resistance has increased its size by 30%. Ambassador Chen exchanged glances with the council members, quantum encrypted communications passing between them in microsecond bursts. Finally, she turned back to the desperate alien commander. "Admiral, we can offer you the 3rd Humanitarian Fleet. 12 ships, approximately 8,000 personnel." Admiral Zix Thara's bioluminescent panels went completely dark. 8,000 personnel, 12 ships, against a swarm that had consumed 4 entire star systems and grown stronger with each victory. I understand," she managed, trying to maintain diplomatic composure despite her crushing disappointment. "Any assistance is appreciated." What Admiral Zix Thara didn't understand was that the 3rd Humanitarian Fleet represented something unique in galactic military doctrine. Ships designed not to destroy, but to save. 71 hours later, she stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching human vessels enter the Kepler system. The sight was underwhelming. Instead of the massive dreadnought she had hoped for, 12 modest vessels approached. Hospital ships, rescue craft, engineering vessels, and what appeared to be converted civilian transports. The lead ship, UEN Compassion, was particularly unimpressive, a bulky medical vessel with no visible weapons, its hull marked with the universal medical symbol rather than military insignia. "This is Captain Maria Vasquez of the 3rd Humanitarian Fleet," came the transmission. "Admiral Zix Thara, we're here to help. What's the current situation on your homeworld?" Admiral Zix Thara struggled to find diplomatic words for the hopelessness of their situation. "Captain, the swarm has reached our outer orbital platforms. Evacuation is proceeding, but we can only save a fraction of our population before." "Understood," Captain Vasquez interrupted. "We're reading approximately 40 million civilians still planetside. Begin routing evacuation ships to our position. We'll handle extraction protocols." "Captain," Admiral Zix Thara said gently, "your ships appear to be configured for medical assistance. The swarm doesn't respond to humanitarian appeals." There was a pause before Captain Vasquez responded, and when she did, her voice carried something that made Admiral Zix Thara's crystalline structure resonate with unexpected hope. "Admiral, You asked for help. You didn't ask for weapons. What followed defied every principle of military doctrine Admiral Zix Thara had learned in her 3 centuries of service. The human ships didn't engage the swarm directly. Instead, they did something unprecedented. They ignored it completely. While the Void Swarm focused on consuming the massive military fleets still futilely attacking it, the human vessels slipped past the battle lines like they were performing a routine operation. The UN Compassion deployed dozens of smaller craft that moved through the chaos with surgical precision, extracting civilians from population centers moments before the swarm arrived. How are they doing this? Demanded General Kethvox, Admiral Zix Thara's tactical officer. The swarm should be targeting them. Admiral Zix Thara studied the tactical display, her ancient military training struggling to comprehend what she was seeing. There, not registering as threats, the human ships carried no weapons that the swarm could identify as military assets. Their hulls were designed for durability rather than combat. Their energy signatures matched civilian vessels. To the swarm's primitive targeting algorithms, they were simply more matter to be consumed later, after the immediate military threats were eliminated. But there was more. As Admiral Zix Thara watched, she realized that the humans weren't just evacuating civilians, they were saving the planet itself. "Admiral," reported her science officer, "the human vessels are deploying some kind of atmospheric processors around our homeworld. They're removing our population and our atmosphere." "What?" "They're literally stealing our planet's biosphere," the science officer explained in amazement. "Atmospheric extraction, soil sampling, biological preservation. They're taking everything that makes our world livable." On the tactical display, Admiral Zix Thara watched the impossible. Human ships systematically strip mining an entire planet's life-supporting elements, while a cosmic horror devoured everything else around them. UN Compassion, what are you doing?" she transmitted. "We're stealing your planet before the swarm can eat it," Captain Vasquez replied matter-of-factly. "Our terraforming ships are grabbing every cubic meter of atmosphere, every sample of soil, every biological specimen. When this is over, we'll rebuild Kepler 438b somewhere else." "You can do that?" "Admiral, we're the species that turned a dead rock called Mars into a garden world in 30 years. Rebuilding your planet is Tuesday for us." As the final evacuation ships departed, Admiral Zix Thara watched the Void Swarm consume her empty homeworld, a lifeless husk stripped of everything that had made it valuable. The swarm gained mass, but no life, no culture, no meaning. 3 months later, she stood on the surface of New Kepler, watching her people tend to crystal gardens, identical to those that had grown on their original homeworld. The soil was the same, the atmosphere was the same, even the bacterial ecosystem had been perfectly replicated. "Your 3rd humanitarian fleet," she said to Captain Vasquez, who had stayed to oversee the planetary reconstruction. "It wasn't your weakest fleet at all, was it?" Captain Vasquez smiled, gesturing at the thriving colony around them. "Admiral, humanity's weakest fleet is the one that only knows how to destroy things. Our strongest fleet is the one that knows how to save them." Admiral Zix Thara looked up at the artificial sun that human engineers had positioned in perfect mimicry of their original star's output. "In our language," she said softly, "we have a word for beings who can create worlds. We call them gods." "In our language," Captain Vasquez replied, "we call them doctors, engineers, and humanitarian workers. And we're always hiring." As Admiral Zix Thara filed her final report on the Kepler crisis, she made a recommendation that would change galactic military doctrine forever. When facing extinction, don't call for humanity's warriors. Call for their healers. Sometimes the greatest strength lies not in what you can destroy, but in what you refuse to let die.